Hey, this is Frank, and today I've got a new plane that I put together that is a Boeing 2707-300. So this was the final design iteration that Boeing did for the SST program in the late 60s. This was not the swing wing version, which was found to be way too heavy a mechanism to work with the number of passengers they wanted to use. And so this was more like the Concorde design, but instead of a canard like the Soviets used, they used a little stub horizontal stabilizer in the back, which helped with trim and pitch control, along with using elevons on the aircraft. So this was a neat prototype that they built a mock-up of, but they never actually completed before it was canceled. My dad worked at the Boeing DC Center, and I remember driving by and seeing the profile of the SST on the side of the building and thinking that was really neat looking. So to model this in a small, easy to build fashion is not that easy. There are a lot of problems with it. Number one, you've got this small horizontal stabilizer, and if you were to try to run that as an elevator, it's really too small. It gets in the way of a pusher motor back here in the tail. And the other problem is the engines were mounted under the bottom, and they stuck back past the trailing edge, so that kind of limited you in a model to just using these little outboard pieces. And those are a little too small too. So what I did was I used some rocketry tubing on the bottom, coated them with CA and vinyl, since they land on the runway first, and made some cones out of glossy photo paper and soaked those in CA, and so those are the ramjet intakes. And then I just stopped the tubes where the hinge line in is, used the full trailing edge as an elevon, and used some vinyl markings to simulate the rest of the engine shape. So in the sky it looks about correct, and from the top view you could see the nozzles in flight, so it looks pretty good. I've reduced the size of the horizontal stabilizer a little bit just because I didn't want it fighting the elevon controls. I've upsized the tail a little and the wingspan just a hair from scale. The tube diameter is about 1.65, which is about right for this length. It's about 40 inches long, 22-inch wingspan, and weighs about 11.5 ounces, ready to fly. 6mm depth run for the wing and tail. And on the bottom I mounted the servos vertically, so they go into the body tube opening there, and they sit quite low so that they're not quite flush, but they don't stick down far enough to get caught on the runway or grass when landing. They'll hit the nacelles first. The nose cone should be a little bit longer and a little pointier, but it's what I had, and it was light enough that it didn't. I didn't need to add tail weight. I added just about a ½ ounce in nose weight in this one. The battery is pushed up as far up in the nose cone as I can go. Some Sharpie pen for markings for panel lines, and some Oracal vinyl for the stripes and cockpit decals. And it's using a 2208 1800 kV motor with an APC 6.4 prop, 20 amp speed control. The receiver is up here in the body tube. It's an AR410 receiver. I've got two AR 5055 digital Metal Gear servos for the elevons, and a 3-cell 800 battery in the nose. It surprisingly flew really well. I wasn't sure if that tail was going to fight me a little bit. I've beveled cut the rear of the body tube and painted black where the motor mounts in to kind of simulate the curved up stinger on the real thing. And yeah, it looks pretty good. Another one of those childhood airplanes that really piqued my imagination, and flies quite nice. No real weird habits or anything, just flies like a regular elevon plane. Gives me about 6.5 minutes of run time, so hope you like it.
In theory.
You can come up here, Olivia.
Yeah, you can.
Alrighty.
Mm-hmm.
flying more to the left, and then I'll just stay on the right.
Yeah, okay.
And then we'll just video over here. And able to zoom in okay, Olivia?
Yep.
Landing.
I think so.
Very nice.
Yeah, you can see those engines underneath. It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, flies real nice. It added a little more weight putting those engines on it. That to add a little more nose weight, but I think it flies a little nicer, heavier. Upside down. Lost your skills.
I hope not.
What's that?
I hope not.
Let's see again.
See you in post.